Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be covering a block called the X block. Now the X block looks exactly the way it sounds. It makes an X with your arms. A couple of important things you need to know about it. Number one, we are blocking with the blades of our arms on this block. That's super critical. Number two, our arms should cross in front of our body, not above or in contact with our body. Number three, super critical here, whichever leg you have forward, that arm goes on the bottom, whether you're doing an X block to the high or an X block low. All right, so let's go through the mechanics of this real quick. First off, this block starts from your hips, okay, with that pinky on the hips position. Secondly, we want to extend this out like two punches that are happening simultaneously. So if my left foot is forward here and I've got my hands pulled back to my hips here, I want to think about punching this way and this way at the same time. Now notice which hand ended up on bottom. My left hand, because my left leg is in front. Whether I'm doing this from a back stance, okay, which can happen, a cat stance, whether I'm doing it from a forward stance, okay. If we're doing it from a horse stance, we might alternate which hand is on bottom or top so that we can practice both positions. All right, so think about extending two punches at the same time. So with my left leg forward, my hands are on my hips here. What I'm doing is I'm punching downward. I don't want my elbows to cross. I actually want my forearms to cross a little bit above the wrist bone, okay? I don't want to be down here on my wrists, then I've just got this weird punchy sort of thing happening. This is designed to catch something, okay, in between my hands. Maybe so that I can move it off to one side, maybe just so that I can stop it. Maybe I'm actually striking down into something. We use this in a lot of different motions, but the critical thing here is that I'm not stopping with my pinkies together, but I've got a gap in between them. Now, I'm going to turn sideways because I want you to see something really important. My arms are not right against my leg, okay? When we do our down block, it doesn't stop right in front of our leg. It's a little bit above. That gives us some gap to protect our body. We're also not up in front of our body like we're reaching out. A lot of times when people practice this, they get a little bit of momentum going in their body and they start to lean as they do this block. There are a few cases in which case we use this block with some hip motion, but generally the hip motion is backwards while we're doing the block, not shoulders forward. We don't want to lean into the block, okay? So instead we want to have that great posture. I'm going to do this from a forward stance. My hands are on my hips and I strike downward, okay? Now, if I were to strike upward, my hands have to switch positions. So I'm going to pull here and then I extend upwards. Now notice that I'm not coming from the outside and up. We never want to do that because that's catching whatever we're blocking and pulling it down into our face. It's a very sad day, okay? Instead, I want to extend up from the center of my body and out away from my body. As you do this, you don't want to lean back to try to protect yourself because that brings your hands down and then you're unprotected. It also puts you off balance. So instead, we want to keep our head forward using our shoulders and our back muscles to protect our neck and head here from the whiplash of getting struck. That's why we're striking forward with this. Again, in that X block position, I'm crossing at the forearms, not at the wrist bones. I'm also not crossing at the elbows, so I'm all tied up in a knot here, okay? We got to be careful about that. Okay, so if I were to move forward with this, maybe alternating sides, let me step back a little bit here. Say I step with my right leg first. My hands are on my hips. I step, block. Then, as I step, I'm going to chamber again. So my feet come together, my hands go to my hips, I step out to the great forward stance, but this time, my left hand goes low because my left foot is forward. One more time, I pull, and I strike. Now which hand's on bottom? Well, my right hand because my right leg is forward. That creates a shield along this entire side of my body. If I go left hand low, anything that's coming from this side is going to split my arms, and now I'm still getting struck through whatever my arms were trying to do because it opens them up. From this, if anything is hitting me from this side, it's going to have to slide up and go through this arm to get to me. Okay, now let's talk about going high. When I do this from the high block position, here I am, my feet are together, my hands are down here in front of my hip or beside my hips. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to step with my left this time. my left arm is going to be on the bottom. So as I bring my hands up, I'm stepping forward. My left arm goes out first so that it stays on the bottom of the stack, okay? So if you see here, my hand is on the bottom, my left hand, which is on the lead side. Now, as I step forward, it's almost like I'm grabbing something and pulling myself forward, and then as I step into that good forward stance, boom, uh-oh, my hand switched. Now my right hand is on the bottom. Then I pull forward, strike. Now left hand, whichever leg is forward, that hand is always going to be on the bottom of the stack. All right, guys, make sure that you're practicing that as a strike, not just a block, and make sure that you're practicing it with the lead hand low every time. Don't forget to breathe. Make sure that you're not leaning forward or backward with the block. Make sure you're maintaining that great posture. You guys are going to do great at this. Have fun training, keep growing, and we'll see you guys in the next video.